welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 793, recorded live on May 11th, 2024. And here are your hosts, the man who most likely doesn't care anymore about limes, Dave Pillay.
I mean, if you were to tell me that all limes everywhere just disappeared, I'd be a little worried.
And the man who's got a lime-flavored beverage in front of him, Andy Lowe. Hi.
Andy, we don't want this to turn into another, Verner's thing. Where Andy is holding Dave down while he's, squeezing limes down the drain. That's not a thing.
I promise this will be the last lime beverage for a while, I guess. I don't know. This is one of the... Pepsi came out with their summer flavors.
Okay.
So I have Pepsi Lime.
Pepsi Lime.
Pepsi Lime. Yeah, it smells like Pepsi. All right.
Is that just so you can, add rum to it and it's already mixed?
I do have some rum, except it's spiced rum.
I don't see the problem there.
Well, I don't know. Spiced rum always in mixed beverages kind of adds...
The spices, which is what, cinnamon?
It just throws it off. But this one, okay, so Pepsi with me has always been too sweet. And I do have to say, the lime kind of cuts down on that sweetness, which makes me very worried about the next beverage, because the other flavor Pepsi came out with, which I'll have next week, was Pepsi Peach.
Ugh.
Yeah, that one I'm just like,
Ugh. That's ugh.
But no, the lime here actually, it cuts down on that overly sweet Pepsi flavor, so that's good. Not bad. Am I going to start drinking Pepsi? No. But...
No. Nothing convinced me more that Pepsi is inferior to Coke than the fact that Pepsi had to buy a restaurant chain so that they would sell Pepsi.
They bought Yum Brands, didn't they, or no?
Yeah, they bought the Taco Bell and KFC stuff.
Yeah.
So that they could sell Pepsi there.
Created as a spin-off of PepsiCo in 1997. Yeah.
Specifically so that they could sell Pepsi there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi Andy.
Hello, Dave.
How you doing? How's the weather out there in Kalamazoo?
Well, Did we talk about the tornadoes? No, because that was this week.
That was this week.
Yeah. So
no, we did not talk about the tornadoes.
Yeah. So we always have our group meeting for my job is on Tuesday mornings, and we're just going through the day, talking about, what stuff we have to do. And we're an entirely remote operations. We don't have any home base building. So when we go out to work on things, we literally go out to work on them. 90% of the time, I'm just sitting in the parking lot of some state police post or fire station or something, working on a vehicle because it works. And they were talking about trying to get all the stuff done because they heard that there was going to be thunderstorms or something in the afternoon. And I'm just like, oh, huh. And I look at the weather, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's a big line of thunderstorms. So I go out and I help out one of the other guys just because, he wanted to get all his stuff done before it started raining. It literally, just started to rain right when we finished up. So
right.
I come home and I'm just doing work in the house here. I go and I pick up Isaac, and I'm coming home, and Isaac's upstairs, and my phone suddenly, starts blowing up. Both phones do, because I've got,
that.
Yeah. So I have both of my phones suddenly going off. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? And I look down, I'm like, oh, tornado. And in my head, I was like, tornado warning. Oh, that's okay. We'll have to. And then I'm like, wait a second, tornado warning.
Warning, not watch.
No, warning. And so I just wander over to Isaac, and I'm like, hey, Isaac, can we just wander downstairs and just hang out downstairs in the basement, play with some Legos or something? And then Kate is currently picking up Megan from daycare. And so I've got because I pull up the weather guy, and he's literally starts on the local weather thing there, it starts talking about Portage. Tornado is heading towards Portage, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Oh, that's us.
Yeah. And then he starts talking, I call up Kate and I'm just like, this is a thing. So, I get everything prepped here and, I get everybody into the house. And it's very concerning when the weatherman on the TV starts naming roads that are literally like roads in your neighborhood.
As like, if you are in these roads, get to safety.
Yes. So we go downstairs in the basement and watching the radar on the TV. The tornado has already passed us. It's east of where we're at.
Yeah.
So I come back upstairs.
They can turn around.
Yeah. Well,
it's super dangerous because they can turn around.
It was about 5 miles away. So, I come back upstairs. Our power blipped for like a second at the house and everything. I go outside and look around. Nothing is disturbed. Like I had even moved the patio furniture because I'm like, last thing I want to do is patio furniture blow away. No, exactly where I left it, wasn't nothing problems here whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, well, that was interesting. And then I start seeing pictures on Facebook and other things there's a strip mall that is about a mile to a mile and a half south of our house. And that strip mall got wrecked. There is no longer the back half of the building.
Oof.
Yeah, the front half is not in great shape either because the back half of the building got ripped away.
Shredded. Yeah.
And I forgot to say, I was literally on that road an hour earlier because I was picking up some medical forms from Megan, and her doctor's office is on that road. So I was literally at that intersection an hour beforehand, which still kind of freaks me out a little bit. But yeah, no, it's the south of us just got wrecked. About 100 families or so got, their houses are now gone or condemned. One of our towers was right in the line of the tornado, and its fence is completely gone. all the antennas were out of alignment. So, of course, everything was a little wonky on that one. It was still up and running, though, which was surprising. But its signal levels were just in the dirt. So, yeah, it was bad. Isaac's been off of school ever since then because I guess some of the schools in the district didn't have power on Wednesday. They got it back on Thursday, but there were also some of the roads were still closed, and there was a lot of phone and internet lines that were still down because there were multiple people running on the power lines.
Right, the physical towers that are the power lines.
Yes, if your power poles get knocked down, consumers, it's technically their pole, so they have to come back and replace the pole. But they're not going to care about the Verizons or the Xfinities or the Spectrums or everybody else
wires,
on that.
The other physical wires that were on the line.
No, so they have the other physical, cable companies and everybody have to wait for the phone company, or not the phone company, the power company to come in and actually put the power poles in. Then they can, wait for the consumers to finish up all their stuff and get out. And then they can go in and finally, run their lines as well.
That's just a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, no, it was surprising when I went to I had to stop by and see the tower site because they were telling me about this when I went up to there was an employee appreciation lunch up in Lansing, and I also had to pick up some equipment, spectrum analyzer and some other stuff. They were telling me about this, so I'm like, this is a mile and a half from my house. I'm in my work truck. I might as well, I have to swing by the storage unit over in Kalamazoo anyway, drop off some of this equipment. I might as well just, swing by down there, see this tower. And it was just a line of tree clearing and power people and phone people and everybody just along this whole stretch of road, because this was right where the tornado ran across.
I hope that no one was hurt.
Yes, no deaths. There were no deaths.
That's good.
Only
just a lot of inconveniences.
Yes, about 100 families are now working on new homes. So yeah, no, that was a bit of a shocker. I was thinking, thunderstorms. Yeah, I should probably get all my work done ahead of time. Stay inside.
Good thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So yeah, weather, good times.
And then the auroras last night and tonight, because solar flare from doom. Did you see the solar flare that caused these auroras?
No, I have not. I meant to look that up.
It's momentary, right? It doesn't last long when you're looking at the sun. But damn, it was just, you think of when people think of solar flares, they think of the prominences, like these huge arches of plasma and fire and heat. No, a solar flare is a blip. It's an explosion. It's just like you're watching it, it's a ball of fire, and then a like pulse comes off of it. And you're like, oh shit. Because for a pulse to come off of it, it has to hit escape velocity. The sun has a surface. If something is leaving the surface, it has to beat the sun's gravity. Think about that for a moment. So, yeah, it was pretty intense. So, yes, I believe that the auroras the last 2 nights have been just absolutely crazy.
Well, we had talked about that M9 flare that happened.
Yeah.
These last 2 that had come out, as we now know, they were X class. There was an X 5.8 and an X 1.5 that occurred today. So today.
So we might see even more?
That's what it seems. According to recent NOAA discussion.
It's not, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not light from the sun. It's not traveling at light speed. It's charged like matter that has left the sun, right?
Yeah. What's in a coronal mass ejection? Come on. Large expulsion of plasma and magnetic field from the sun's atmosphere.
CMEs travel outward from the sun at speeds ranging slower than 250 kilometers per second to near 3,000 kilometers per second. The fastest Earth-directed CMEs can reach our planet in 15 to 18 hours.
While slower ones, traveling around 155 miles per second, can take several days to arrive. So yes, there was 2 massive X-level solar flares that just happened. Yeah, the dynamic solar flare occurred late Saturday, May 10th. Oh, because this is GMT. No, because this is a typo. It's late Saturday because it just lists the time at May 11th GMT.
But they say May 10th.
Yes, because it's a typo. Yep.
Yeah. Is it a typo or just a mistake? The 1 and the 0 are very far apart on the keyboard.
That is true. And he was probably also talking about Friday, the 10th, for a while. Okay, so Region 3664 has the potential to stay busy through Monday. More flares are expected in the top 2 classes, M and X.
So we've got the potential for some more auroras, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, if you still have your solar glasses, you could actually put your solar glasses back on and look, and you could actually see the sunspot.
See it coming towards us?
Well, because
see the sunspot?
See the sunspot that's causing all of these flares and mass ejections and everything. Because the sunspot is about 17 times the width of the Earth.
So, how big?
17 times the width of the Earth.
Oh my god.
Well, the sun is big.
The sun is huge. The sun is...
It's 1 million Earths, right?
Yeah. Well, is it 1 million Earths, like...
Volume, I think.
Volume.
Yes, the volume of the sun can fit 1 million Earths, if I remember Isaac's astronomy videos.
I feel like that's not the right... Hang on.
I swear it's 1 million...
How many Earths can fit in the sun? More than 330,000 Earths to match the mass of the sun, and it would take 1.3 million Earths to fill the sun's volume. Okay, 1.3 million.
I'm sorry, that's a rounding error on my part.
No, Andy, that is not a rounding error. 1.3 million versus 1 million, that's a 30% error, Andy.
Still, you didn't believe me when I said it was 1 million.
Because I thought it was too little. I thought it was more than that.
Like I said, those YouTube videos, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. But when all of them say 1 million Earths can fit in the sun, I just accept it.
Yep. Sun's diameter is 1.3 million kilometers, and Earth's is 12,000 kilometers, 13,000 kilometers. You could line up Earth 109 times across the face of the sun. And this thing is 17 Earths big.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a sixth of the sun?
What did they say? The diameter, the massive sunspot complex, about 17 times the width of the Earth.
And if the sun is 109 times the width of the Earth, 17 divided by 109 is 15%, which is about a sixth.
Well, that's what they said, is the fact that, if you put solar...
you'd be able to see it. It's a sixth of the sun. That's not small.
No. Oh, jeez, I forgot how burpy Pepsi makes me. The entire time I'm just trying to lean back and then, burp without burping.
Because you don't want to burp into the microphone?
Yeah.
So... should we... I mean, it feels like we're already talking about topics.
Yes.
Should we talk about topics?
Sure. Well, we can stay... Space. Can we do space?
Yeah. Sure, we can do space.
Because...
Do you want to do space or going to space?
Do we have a space?
I don't think we have a space. You just want to talk about going to space.
Yes.
So I had an opportunity to be in Florida next week, and I did not take it.
Oh.
And... I'd be there up to Friday, and then I could take personal time and just stay over the weekend at very, very low cost, because I just have to pay the difference in the plane ticket that it would normally they'd bring me back on. So I could have been in Florida, not just in Florida, in Daytona, Florida, on Friday the 17th.
Which wouldn't have mattered except for the fact that, as we had talked about in the last episode, there was supposed to be a Starliner launch.
Last Tuesday.
Yes, but it got scrubbed.
What was the scrub from?
It actually was not Boeing's fault.
Are you saying that? Because if you say that it was Boeing's fault, you might suffer mysterious circumstances.
No.
Two of their whistleblowers have so far.
No. So there was nothing wrong with the capsule. It's not a Boeing rocket. It's a ULA Atlas V rocket.
Wait, it's not even a Boeing rocket?
No, Boeing doesn't make rockets.
What do you mean Boeing doesn't make rockets? What did they make? What the hell is the Starliner if it's not a rocket?
The Starliner is the capsule.
They made the capsule.
Yes.
And that's it.
I do believe the Starliner is the capsule. Yes, the Boeing Starliner is a class of partially reusable spacecraft designed to transport crew to the International Space Station.
I thought it was the rocket.
No, it's the Dragon is what it is, if we do use SpaceX terms. It's not the Falcon,
well, that's not
it's the
nearly
Dragon.
As impressive. I thought they were testing an entire rocket.
No. It's just the capsule.
They just took the capsule and stuck it on top of an Atlas V.
Yes.
They're not even in the competition then. This is ridiculous.
Well, the Dragon capsule, which is, the other one that this is comparable, the Dragon capsule is just a capsule. It's on a Falcon 9 rocket.
Right, but who built the Falcon 9 rocket, Andy?
SpaceX, but that was not part of the whole NASA contract. The NASA's contract was to build a module.
Right, but which is more important? Or not more important. Which is more impressive? Getting the contract, building a module, getting the contract, building a module, and a fucking delivery system.
Well, the delivery system was built first.
Fair. Still,
it so happens that Hans is going to hate me as soon as he hears that. I'm thinking of a vertical monopoly, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, SpaceX, I don't know that SpaceX has a fully vertical monopoly, but they definitely have some synergies within the company.
That, it helps that they have, they are the rocket launcher and
the rocket manufacturer.
Yeah, the module manufacturer.
Yeah. A vertical monopoly would be if SpaceX also made the materials that their rockets were made out of.
Oh, they don't do that, yeah.
No. Well, they do some. They have the methane farm, right?
Yes, that's true.
Although, are they making the methane or just purchasing it?
That one, I don't know. I think there's a brief talk about it when Everyday Astronaut does a tour of Boca Chica, but I don't remember. Because it's infrastructure. Nobody's really excited about infrastructure.
Bullshit.
I am.
I went to an infrastructure thing at work where they said, like, here's what our geothermal infrastructure looks like. And I'm like, that's really friggin' cool. I'm like, yeah, we have like 3 like water-based heat sinks, and we have one of the largest geothermal energy transfer sites in the world. And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, the UW, University of Wisconsin-Madison, like, their people come and study our geothermal so that they can better design geothermal energy exchange.
Which, that's not a topic, but there is a new polymer-based heat pump that people are trying out now.
Neat.
Yeah. I tried reading up on it, and I'm like, this is out of my league.
Yeah, this is like you need a degree in electrical engineering and certain physics. Yeah.
I'm like, I can understand Freon and the expansion and contraction of gases, but they're like, this is not a gas. This is some sort of electrically controlled polymer. And I'm like, how does that even work? It works on some form of electricity.
Some form of electricity. There we go.
Isn't that the line from the Avengers? Do you not know the line that I'm talking of?
No. And I've seen the Avengers multiple times. It works on some sort of electricity.
Yeah. This is...
Oh, that's got to be early on when they're talking about the Tesseract. No.
This is during the attack on the helicarrier.
Yeah.
Where Tony and Captain America are trying to restart.
Right. And Cap, being a soldier from the past.
Yeah, Tony...
Like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, Tony tells him to open up the thing, and he opens it up, and he's like, well, what do you see? And Captain America is like, well, it seems to run on some sort of electricity.
Oh, 2012 was a simpler time.
So that's my line that I always go to whenever I, look at something that I have no idea what I'm looking at. I'm just like, oh, looks like it's running on some sort of electricity. Now I got to find the exact quote. It appears to run on some form of electricity. Yep.
It appears to run on some form of electricity.
But yes, no. So the test flight got scrubbed. Not with anything that Boeing did, but the rocket itself couldn't get.
Was missing some green lights.
A valve on the liquid oxygen tank was causing some issues.
I mean, I can understand NASA being a little touchy about liquid oxygen tanks.
Yes, the ULA didn't want to take the step of launching with the astronauts inside the Starliner spacecraft atop the rocket, so they waited because I guess there was a buzzing noise coming from the valve, which...
generally not good.
Yes, normally it's a rapid movement of the relief valve, which was cycling about 40 times per second. So they didn't want to mess with the valve while the astronauts were there in case there was a problem.
Right.
So
the last liquid oxygen problem kept that was Apollo 13. That was not good.
No. So they said flight rules called for us to scrub and take the crew off before we cycled the valve to make sure that it would continue to work. He said if this was a satellite, standard procedure would be cycle the thing because there's nobody there, and then the problem went away, and so satellite would already be in orbit. But there were people. Yeah.
I'm glad that they value people more.
Yep. So teams are going to roll back the rocket to the hangar. They're going to change out the valve, and it looks like May 17th now will be the new test launch.
And I could have been there.
Well, yes, but would you have wanted to go there if there was no rocket launch?
I mean, I chose not to, so...
there's your answer.
Right. I'm going back to Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm going back to Oklahoma City. It's OKC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be there during one of the finals. Is it the finals or is it still the playoffs?
Of basketball?
Yeah.
I think we're still in the playoffs right now.
But when will we be in the finals? There we are. NBA 2024 playoffs. bracket schedule, etc., etc. The Thunders and the Mavericks are in the semifinals. Dallas leads 2-1.
If I remember correctly from hockey...
Oh, no. Game 7, if necessary, Monday, May 20th. I go out there on the 21st.
Yeah, a lot of the schedule for the playoffs all depend on if things go to 7 games or not.
Right. So at this point, for it to be in Oklahoma City, they'd have to end it on Game 6. So Oklahoma has to win the rest of the games. Because if it goes to Game 7, Monday, May 20th would be the final game of this series. And then they'd go to the West Finals, so like the actual semifinals. And maybe start on Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, it's not going to be a quick turnaround.
Because I go out there Tuesday, and I'm there Wednesday. And there Tuesday, I come back Wednesday. I'd have to take like personal time. All right, so I'm not gonna see the NBA playoffs. So close, Andy, so close.
Missed it by that much.
By like a day.
Yeah.
Which again, I could say like, hey, I'm adding on some personal time.
If you really,
I don't care about it that much.
No.
Is there any teams that I actually care about? The Thunder, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, and Cavaliers. Nope. Yeah, I do not care about any of those teams.
Nope.
Cool. What else you want to talk about, Andy?
Well, there's an update on a piece of news from the last podcast.
Sony?
Yes.
And Helldivers?
Yes.
And now we know a little bit more about what actually happened? Like you and me know more?
Well, it says that they announced on May 5th that PlayStation announced, Helldiver fans, we've heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward.
Yep.
We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans.
Oh, God. So first off, let's start with how Sony fucked up. This is not Sony fucking up. This is Sony backtracking, and they're doing the right thing, although they are not doing enough. Because Sony's the publisher. That's the piece that you and I were missing. This had nothing to do with cross-platform play. Sony is the publisher of Helldivers, which means they're the ones who are like talking to Valve and like putting this on Steam. Valve, first off, this isn't even on the topic list. Valve started greenlighting all refunds for Helldivers 2. It didn't matter how long people had played it. If they put in a request for a refund, Valve said, sure. Which means that money's coming out of Sony's pocket.
Yep.
So there was a financial issue. And in fact, I dare say that probably had more of an effect than anything else. So good job, Valve? ? That's kind of weird, but yeah, the community, review bombed the game. Sony was trying to make a grab for information ? Like, I don't know what they were really planning to get out of getting everyone registered for the PlayStation Network. But, it was delisted in like 177 countries.
Oh boy.
Because of the requirement for PlayStation Network. And it's still not back. Last I knew, in those 177 countries.
Wow, Helldivers 2 is the 7th highest grossing Sony published game in history.
Yep.
Wow.
It made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Well, it's not going to happen for right now, but we'll have to see how long that lasts.
Yeah. Sony burned a shit ton of goodwill.
Yep.
And probably scared a bunch of other game developers away.
Mm-hmm. But that's, I guess, good news?
It's probably the most positive outcome possible. other than those 177 delisted countries, that kind of sucks still.
Yeah, there's I read somewhere that they're still trying to get them relisted after,
Sony withdrew their decision.
Yes. So they're still delisted on those countries, and they're trying to contact Valve to get everything squared back away again.
Yeah.
So, video game news that we got here.
Yeah.
Well, first off, speaking of money, EA said during their...
Speaking of money, EA.
Yeah. They released their earnings report for quarter 4 of fiscal year 2024. EA's top line numbers were okay. They, had revenue, they had income, but they did say that they announced plans for a new stock repurchase program that will see them buy back $5 billion in shares over the next 3 years.
Jeez.
That's a step up from the $1.3 billion in repurchased shares it had made in each of the past 3 years. So, over the last 3 years, it's done $4 billion in stock buybacks, and it's going to do another $5 billion over the next 3 years. Huh. I don't know, but I feel like, $9 billion...
could have gone to pay for the developers that they're firing.
Possibly. You're talking about, oh yeah, we got decent numbers. Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to be spending billions of dollars on stock buyback. Looking ahead, EA expects the new financial year to be a bit leaner, with revenues down as much as 6%, with the net income drops between 14% and 29%.
But we're still going to do
a billion.
$5 billion buyback.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a fun piece of trivia there.
You have a strange definition of fun, sir.
How about ridiculous piece of trivia?
How about disturbing and upsetting piece of trivia?
Yes. Yes, we'll go with disturbing. Spending billions of dollars just so you can keep your stock price up during, lean times, I guess that's what my thought is, but, that'll probably be a Hans question. Other video game news, Xbox has decided to close down 4 Bethesda studios.
Which 4?
Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse.
Damn it, Bethesda, why? Why are you making these things named such crazy shit? How do I know what each of them are responsible for?
I don't know.
Arcane Austins will be moved to other Bethesda studios, and the entire team at Roundhouse will become part of ZeniMax Online to work on Elder Scrolls Online. A small number of people in Bethesda publishing corporate roles will also be laid off.
So, one of the studios there is Tango Gameworks made Hi-Fi Rush, which was, I guess, a good, fun little indie game. And
is it an indie game if you're part of Bethesda?
You're part of Bethesda, which is owned by Microsoft.
I don't think that's an indie game at that point.
Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. That was April of last year.
Oof. Statements that don't age well.
Yeah. So what's really funny, though, is at a town hall after announcing that the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush would be going away.
Yeah.
Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, held a town hall to discuss the division's future goals. We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards. So you shut down
a group of developers
that gave you a small game with prestige and awards, and then you go to a town hall afterwards and say,
we need prestige and awards. Maybe you're doing it wrong?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. The gaming industry has just been so messy, and it's getting messier as everything collapses and condenses.
Yeah, it's like a giant balloon happened during COVID, and now literally the air is just getting let out of the balloon.
Yeah, well,
and it's just
during COVID, wasn't there a point at which the interest rate went negative? Do you remember that?
I do not.
You don't remember when the interest rate went negative.
There's gotta be, though. No, yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay.
So at some point, borrowing money was better than free.
Yeah.
And so that's why everyone hired so many people. Because you could just borrow money to pay them. But then that stopped.
Mm-hmm. Well, other Microsoft news. Microsoft has been talking about an Xbox mobile gaming store.
Okay.
Well,
do they have a mobile product? I mean, there's Microsoft phones, but those don't count, do they?
Well, at the Bloomberg Technology Summit, Xbox president Sarah Bond revealed the launch date and what they're going to do. Bond says, we're going to start by bringing our own first-party portfolio to the Xbox mobile store. So you're going to see games like Candy Crush show up in that experience, games like Minecraft. We're going to start on the web.
Neither of which, just want to point out, neither of which were made by Microsoft. These were purchased by Microsoft. Calling them first party is a little, like, not really. It's like saying Apple invented Siri.
We're going to start on the web, and we're doing that because that really allows us to have it be an experience that's accessible across all devices, all countries, no matter what, and independent of the policies of closed ecosystem stores. That's how you say Apple without saying Apple.
Yeah.
Or that Apple and Google. Yeah.
Yep, Google too. Tell me you're talking about Google without talking about Google.
Oh, a closed ecosystem of stores? Yeah, that's Apple and Google right there.
More Apple than Google, because Google, like Pixel phones and really any Android phones, sideloading is not hard.
Nope.
It just, there are steps.
Yep. I had to do that for the Kindles.
But for an Apple device, sideloading is like very hard.
Yes. That's why my work phone is an iPhone. They have that thing locked down. But for some reason, there was a security update, and now I installed Pogo on it.
Yep.
Which is good there, because now I can, because I have multiple profiles on my phone, so I can flip profiles. I can go into the guest. Isaac? Yeah, I can go into the guest profile, and that will save all the stuff for Isaac's account in Pogo. And then when I'm done with the guest profile, I can exit out of that, go back to my regular profile on my Android phone, and just use that for my thing, which was fine 90% of the time. But there is some red team right now that is seriously pissing me off. They were in the gym that I go to at the park.
Yes.
For over 6 days.
Okay.
It took me...
kept healing themselves?
Yes. It took me a half hour of me dual boxing the gym in order to finally get them kicked out.
Yeah.
So I kicked them all out of the gym.
And then they kicked you out and put themselves back in.
Yes. I got 3 coins.
Yeah. Andy, what did you expect? If they're spending that many resources to stay in that gym, it's because they're trying to get gold on it.
It's being jerks. Like,
just give them a couple days and they'll go away.
I've given them 3 weeks. It's the same people. They've been in that gym now for 3 weeks.
Damn.
Yes.
Well, that's just mean.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that I do not at any point see any more purpose of them holding that gym as long as they do.
Yeah.
Because they're all level 45 plus. They're all high level, Pokemon in the gym.
What level are you now? You got to be getting up there.
Well, I've been slowing down a lot because I have 850 Pokemon in my thing, and and not buying more space. Yes, I'm slowly buying more space. Level 33.
Did you see, by the way, the one finger quick catch?
Yes, but I am completely full on Pokemon.
So it doesn't really help you, does it?
No. Hey, look at this easier way to catch more Pokemon. It's like, damn it, it's the opposite of my need right now.
Faster.
I can't even. I'm out of room. I need to go through and figure out how many of these Charizards I need. Or Charmanders.
2, maybe?
I have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 Charmanders, 4
That's
Squirtles,
adorable.
3 Bulbasaurs, 3 Pidgeys, more
Hang on.
Pikachus
Hang on.
wearing hats than I can even imagine.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. I have 10 Bulbasaur.
Why do you have 10 Bulbasaur?
Well, I have 1 regular.
Okay.
I have 2 shiny. I have 4 with a party hat. I have 1 with a Pikachu hat. I have 1 with some other hat that I don't recognize. Actually, I have 2 of those, and that's all 10.
You know, you can't evolve the party hat ones, right?
Yeah.
So why do you have 4 of them?
Do you have any of them?
I have 1.
Okay.
I have
Does
1
Isaac
with the party
have any
hat.
of them?
I'll have to check.
Does Isaac want a party hat?
Well, we'll have to figure this out.
Yeah. The real question is, why do I have no shinies? What did I say? I have 2 shinies. That's not very many. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 shiny Charmanders plus a shiny Charmander with a Pikachu hat.
All right, so here's riddle me this now.
Yeah.
Bulbasaur, party hat, can't evolve.
Yeah, correct.
Charmander with the party hat can evolve.
Yes.
Squirtle with the party hat also can evolve.
Yeah.
What do they have against Bulbasaur with the party hat? Yeah.
They didn't make a Venusaur with a party hat.
Oh my gosh. Really? Are there Venusaurs in the game with hats?
I don't know.
I haven't reached a Venusaur yet. I'm currently getting up to, oh my goodness, that is a big, oh wait, I can't catch him because I don't have any Pokemon available. Son of a bitch.
What is it?
Oh, it's a looks like a giant Ghastly.
Do you have any other Ghastlies you could just transfer right now?
I don't. Hold on. Let me go through. All right, other question for you. So I'm playing Pokemon Yellow on my phone. Is there anything in game that will actually tell me what the heck all these different attack moves do, or no?
For Pokemon Yellow?
Yes.
I'm not.
So we're talking Gen 1 game. I'm sitting here. I've got my Pikachu, and it's like, your Pikachu learned Thunder Wave. And I'm like, what the hell is Thunder Wave?
Thunder Wave is a status effect move that paralyzes the target Pokemon.
Where do I learn that other than me going to Google and typing in Pikachu Thunder Wave Pokemon Gen 1?
Well, you actually wouldn't need to put in Pikachu or Gen 1 because the moves remain consistent across all the generations.
Okay. So is there anywhere that I go with outside of using Google that I can learn about these things?
I know in the later games they do. I don't know if they have the stats of visible in any of the Gen 1 games.
Because Isaac's sitting here playing these things and he's trying to figure out, well, what does this move do? And I'm just like, I don't know. I have to Google that. But then I am also playing on my phone. And he's using my tablets. And
you
it's
mean
just
on your Game Boy, Andy, since it would be illegal to play it on your phone.
Unless I already have the cartridge. Or is that still illegal?
As long as it's a backup copy you made. But the emulator itself would also have to use... any of the programming for the emulator would have to be something that you also provided.
Oh... Well, I'm glad I know coding.
Right.
Yeah.
And can take a binary dump from the chips of your Game Boy that you own.
Yeah, no, I have the Game Boy. It's literally in the thing right here. It still has Tetris in it. Now I have the Tetris theme going through my head. Thank you very much.
And now I do too. I didn't until you said, now I have the Tetris theme going through my head. So, Hades 2 is released for early access. This is another...
Not a topic?
Not a topic. I'm adding it, don't worry.
Now it's a topic.
But the topic isn't actually about Hades 2.
Well, then why'd you bring up Hades 2 then?
Because it's a topic about a different game that was also going to come out in early access this week. Hades 2, all they said was sometime in spring of 2024 that they would be doing early access. And a lot of people expected it to be end of May, mid-June, maybe. And it was a surprise, like, hey, we've opened early access. Now, this is Supergiant Games, and when Supergiant Games puts a game in early access, they are actually taking public input on it. Sorry, my brain just blanked. So A, they're taking public input on it. B, it's basically a finished game. Like, they don't put games out unless they're really confident in the game. And this is the first sequel they've made. So it's good. It's really good. I've been playing it. However, a different company was going to make basically the same kind of game based in Prince of Persia, and it was going to come out the same week. And they said, oops, maybe not. So they are delaying their games.
They're delaying their games just because everybody else is playing a similar game. Wow.
Yeah, including themselves.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're playing this too. We're going to push our release.
Oh, that's funny. Well, let's see, other game news. So we talked about how Tetris, people have gotten so good at Tetris that they're basically breaking the game.
Yes.
Right? You're hitting crashes due to hardware and RAM issues.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that when the game's score handler takes too long to calculate a new score between frames, a portion of the control code gets interrupted and causing it to jump to another part of the game's RAM to look for the next instruction. It turns out that you can actually code the high score table to tell it where to go in the RAM.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So there are only 43 possible symbols that can be used in the name entry and 10 different digits that can be part of the high score. But you can actually use that and the NES's available opcode instructions to use the high score table as an available attack surface in Tetris.
But you're going to be very limited.
Yes. Well, because also there is no battery backed up save system, means that in order to basically hack this, you would have to
do it.
Yeah, you have to achieve high scores manually and enter the complicated names every time they power up Tetris on a stock NES. And there's also a limited number of things there, but people are working on getting around the limitations, saying that somebody has found a set of high score names and numbers that builds another bootstrapper, which builds another bootstrapper, which grants full control over all of RAM.
No, using the high score table?
Supposedly using the high score table.
Bull.
I am.
Come on.
This is way beyond me, but this is what people. Well, this is what people are trying to do because they want to try and get to. Cause once you start reaching these random crash screens,
right,
you've got a problem. Like,
so this is just the evolution of Tetris. Is like you can crash the game. Congratulations. So now the next step is build a bootloader into the game.
Yes, build a bootloader. Play Tetris well enough that you can build a bootloader into the game in order to access the RAM and basically in order to hopefully patch out the crash bugs altogether? Question mark?
Maybe. Not likely. Like, some of those crashes are hardware. Like, there's just a limited amount of space.
What the guy has done already with this proof of concept is just modifying the high score table name and the second place score of 8,575 in the A-type game factor. The simple routine puts 2 zeros in the top digits of the game's score, lowering the score processing time that would otherwise cause a crash. Although the score will eventually reach the danger zone again for a crash with continued play, but he has put a temporary patch in just by modifying one.
By manipulating the score table.
Yes. This is bonkers.
It's people who have way too much free time.
What, you mean the people who are trying to chase the Nintendo Tetris high score have too much
free time?
Have too much free time?
Yeah, just maybe.
How many hours of Factorio do you have?
Let's not go there. Let's just not go there. We don't have to do that, Andy.
Well, is there anything else on this list that you're looking at, or no?
Ascension Healthcare cyber attack. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Russians.
Great.
The Marines are trying to see about putting basically Spot, but with a gun. Spot being the Boston
Dynamics Spot.
Yes, the Boston Dynamics Spot robot with a gun that is AI controlled for aiming.
But not for triggering.
Hopefully not for triggering.
Right, there'll be a human triggering it.
Hopefully?
Maybe.
Let's see. There's some cell phone news where the cell phone carriers are ordered to pay $10 million to settle claims of false unlimited advertising, including misrepresentations about unlimited data plans that were in fact limited and had reduced quality and speed after a certain limit was reached by the user. They were fined $10 million between all three of them. T-Mobile and Verizon are going to pay $4.1 million each, and AT&T agreed to pay a little over $2 million, which they'll probably make that up in, a day? 2 days?
Yeah, not very long.
Yep. Their new advertising...
Not even a slap on the wrist.
The kicker is, though, that they have also agreed to following advertising restrictions for the next 5 years, which is unlimited mobile data plans can only be marketed if there are no limits on the quantity of data allowed during a billing cycle. Offers to pay for consumers to switch to a different wireless carrier must clearly disclose how much a consumer will be paid, how the consumer will be paid, when the consumer can expect payment, and any additional requirements consumers have to meet to get paid. Offers of free wireless devices or services must clearly state everything a consumer must do to receive the free device. Offers to lease wireless devices must clearly state that the consumer will be entering into a lease agreement. And all saving claims must have a reasonable basis. If a wireless carrier claims that consumers will save using its service compared to another wireless carrier, the claim must be based on similar goods or services, or differences must be clearly explained to the consumer.
So none of this, you'll save $50 a month by switching to us, because we only let you do XYZ.
Yep. So there's a monetary fine, which is minuscule, but I feel like the advertising restrictions is going to be the bigger hammer to them. Going, okay, you guys are not allowed to do this advertising stuff the way that you were doing it before. And it's going to be in place for 5 years. Let's see, other news. T-Mobile is looking to buy U.S. Cellular, but not all of U.S. Cellular, because they don't want to get the ire of the U.S. government again. So they want to buy a chunk of U.S. Cellular for more than $2 billion, and then Verizon is going to buy the rest in a separate transaction. I feel like that's got to be illegal somehow, some sort of duopoly or something.
Well, but because it's not, because like AT&T is still there.
But if the two companies are agreeing to buy a third company and split it up just to try and make it less fearful of government intervention,
because like neither one of them could buy yeah.
It's just like the fact that T-Mobile had to, in order to get Sprint, basically had to agree that they would make Dish Network the fourth, wireless competitor in the U.S.
How well did that work out?
Yeah. And then speaking of big companies agreeing to go in together, Max, Disney Plus, Hulu are all
combining.
Yes, they announced on Wednesday that they are going to bundle the 3 subscription streaming services together, and that you will be able to buy the bundle from any of the 3 streaming platforms' websites, offered as both an ad-supported and ad-free plan. So if you have Max, Disney Plus, and Hulu, hopefully you will be paying less if you have all 3 of those.
Hopefully. Will you? Remains to be seen.
So you can just give up your cable and instead get the stream.
Cable.
Buy cable.
Yeah.
And still have to pay for the internet.
Yeah. Where did we go wrong? Andy, where did we go wrong?
I don't know. This is a crazy timeline is what we're on.
Yep. Random review.
Yes, it is your review, Dave.
My review, I would like to review a neat little utility called Chwazi.
Chwazi.
Chwazi. Chwazi is a utility. It is a program for your phone. It is not a game. Although, like, it's kind of fun. But you have a situation where you want to pick a person. This may be who's going to, right. It's maybe like who's going to pay for dinner, or who gets to decide what to do next, or who goes first in a board game. You have a thing and you need to pick a person. So you load up Chwazi, which I will do right now with my sound on. That's Chwazi loading. And then each person puts a finger on the phone screen. And then Chwazi picks one of those fingers. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's really easy to tell who it picks because the entire screen turns the color of that person's little spinner. And then you're done. Someone's picked it. Or rather, it picked the person.
How many fingers total?
Can you fit on at once?
Yeah.
Hang on. It just recognized like 9 fingers at once.
Okay.
It can probably do 10. Yep, it just did 9 fingers. Hang on, let me see if I can get all 10. Yep, it got all 10 at once. If you've got more than 10 people around your phone and you're trying to pick something from that party of 10, maybe cut it in half first, but it does work.
Okay, well, this is a fun little thing.
It's a cute little app. Totally free. The other thing you can do is, so you can pick 2 out of the set. So, like, you have the option at the top where it's 1, 2, or you can group them instead. So you can say, I want to take this like set of people, and maybe you have like 9 or 10 people, and I want to divide them into 3 groups. And it does that. Yeah, so maybe you can have a spot where you have like 15 people, because you can do it into 5 different groups. It just grouped all of my fingers. So it's a cute app. It's free. It's very effective at what it does. That's it.
Okay.
Chwazi. Also, it's a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
Chwazi. Chwazi.
Well then, all right. Well, that should be interesting to see.
The random topic.
Random topic. Rolled ahead
is for you.
Rolled ahead of time. Pros versus cons of a fractal antenna versus a yagi antenna for HD TV and FM radio reception.
What is a fractal versus yagi antenna?
Okay, so a yagi antenna, when you picture that antenna on the roof of your house, right? If you just, you picture a TV antenna on the roof of a house, that is a yagi antenna.
That's the long pole with a bunch of other poles across it.
Yes, one long pole and a bunch of perpendicular poles there. You technically only need 3 for a yagi antenna, but the more poles you have, the more
Yagi Uda antenna.
Yes. Which it's kind of like one of those things where you kind of feel bad about the other guy.
About Uda?
Yeah.
Because it got shortened to Yagi?
Yeah. Well, it's just like the fact that, Mercedes-Benz, you talk about a Mercedes-Benz, and it's like, oh, everybody talks about Mercedes, and it's like, that was the guy's, like, daughter, I think. The actual person who, was the brains behind Mercedes-Benz was Carl Benz.
Well, he named it after his daughter.
No, I don't think it was his daughter.
Oh, it was.
I think it was somebody else.
Oh shit.
Jelnik named the new cars after his daughter, Mercedes Jelnik. So it was not even Carl Benz's.
So tell me about a fractal antenna, because this doesn't look very fractal-ish. It just looks space-filling curve-ish.
It's basically trying to create a lot of surface area in a tiny space.
Yeah.
That will be the right, because antennas have to be a certain length, right? Because antennas work in, or radio waves work in waves, right?
Right.
So you want your antenna to be basically the same size or the same harmonic, the right harmonic or the right size to capture whatever wave is traveling through it.
Sure.
So fractal antennas are basically a way of getting bigger antennas in a smaller area. They're kind of they're printed basically like circuit boards.
Right. But let's say I have an antenna that is a meter long.
Okay.
And I'm trying to deal with a wave that is a meter long.
Okay.
So it's the perfect size for the wave.
Yes.
If I bend that antenna into thirds to make it much smaller, a third of the size, does that not like screw? Is that considered harmonic still? Because like I'm a third of the size of the wave.
Well, normally you'd want it to be half wave or quarter wave.
Okay.
Like the hold on, now I'm just trying to do some math off the size of my head and size. Wavelength. Okay, so AM radio station that I work for, 590, the AM signal wave at 590 kilohertz is approximately 508 meters in size. Now that would be a pretty big tower.
Right. I want that on my car, so I need an antenna on my car.
Yeah, if I built an AM tower at full wavelength,
yeah,
that would be 1,660 feet tall.
That's a tall antenna.
That is a very tall antenna. So your AM antennas, even the broadcast tower is not that tall. I could look it up, but I would have to. I do believe it's over 200 feet tall. So let's say half. What would be 800, probably 400. It's probably 400 and some odd feet tall is the tower. So the transmitter tower itself is only a fraction of the whole wavelength.
You have so lost me.
It's all about fractions, Dave. You want nice.
I got that.
We want nice round fractions, either half, quarter, eighth, 16th.
Right, powers of 2.
Yes, powers of 2, fractions and that sort of stuff.
But if I took a 1,000 whatever foot antenna,
yes,
and I went full Hilbert curve on this thing, and I use it to do a space filling curve, and I fill a space that is like 3 square inches. Does it still, to the radio wave, look like it's 1,000 feet long?
If you have 1,000-foot antenna and you just coil it up, yes, it's still at the right length, even though it's got a coil in it.
But it's not, like, the wave isn't going to hit the antenna all at once.
No, it's a wave, so it's going to propagate through.
Right.
So yes, your actual broadcast is going to look funky, but it's still going to be able to broadcast at that frequency.
Okay.
That's kind of like if you ever see the old, CB antennas, you ever see them where it looks like it goes straight up and then it looks like it does like a little curly Q halfway through and then goes up again?
I have not paid that much attention to antenna, so nope.
Which now, at this point, you're just talking about omnidirectional antennas, which is not a yagi antenna. Yagi antennas have, like I said, it needs at least 3 of those bars, right? You have the one long bar holding everything together, and then there's 3 crossbars. You got your front crossbar, which I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. You have the back one is the reflector bar, and then the one in the middle is a half dipole for whatever frequency you're on, which TV and FM radio are basically, analog TV. I have to go. HDTV is still in the same frequency range. Yes. Technically, FM radio lives right around channel 6 on TV. It used to. Which is kind of weird to think about that, all of the FM spectrum is basically fit inside the same spectrum as a TV station.
Yeah.
All the FM was in there on 6. So you could actually use, and I've done this before, using TV antennas to actually pick up FM radio stations, because the TV antennas were built to pick up channel 6, and FM was right in that range. But, so, pros and cons of a fractal antenna versus a yagi antenna. If you're doing TV or radio reception, it's basically size. That's basically what it comes down to. Yagis are big, especially at the TV and radio spectrum. Just picture the TV antennas on the roof.
Andy,
yeah,
you've lost me.
And
more so, with due respect, sir, you've lost my interest. It's a random topic, Andy.
This was literally my job for like 10 years.
And not your monkey anymore, is it?
No, now I have to deal with 800 megahertz and 700 megahertz stuff, which is a lot smaller frequencies.
Andy seems rather passionate about antennae. Do you have... let me ask this. Is this a troll question?
You'll have to ask Hans that.
Okay.
Basically...
So you don't know if it's a troll question or not?
I don't know. It could be a legitimate question, because the question with the fractal antennas, those are the things like you would stick on a window.
Right.
Because they're a lot smaller. They're not as focused as a yagi. A yagi, you can be like a frickin' laser beam if you have enough of those cross members.
Okay.
Fractal antennas are smaller, newer technology. It all depends on how much space you have. So can I just say it all depends on how much space you have? Can that be the answer?
Yeah, that's an answer. That's a legit answer, Andy.
Well, there you go.
Depends on the space that you have.
Yes. If you have the space, go with a yagi. They're cheaper, less prone for failure. But if you're living in an apartment or something where you can't put a yagi up, go with a fractal antenna.
There you go.
And on that note, I really need a drink of water.
And you need to go to bed.
And that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.